So here we have Sky, and this is going to be Sky's go home video. Go home videos are something we do here at Lewis Manor to help set our families as well as our training pups up for the best success. So you're going to be able to see Sky work on all of her commands here. Right now she's working on leash walking as we are walking through an airport, and she is on her best behavior and was such a good girl on this trip as well as all of our other outings of the week. She walks a little bit behind me, but that's okay. And the only reason I'm moving that leash the way I am is so that you can still see her. I'm not guiding her with a leash. I use treats for that. I want to keep leash walking a successful thing. And as you see, she's walking to my left side with a nice loose leash. I'll kind of show you or explain more as the next clip kind of rolls on, because that is me demonstrating exactly how we are working on this. So I have her to my left side. Nice loose leash, and I'm going to use the words this way when changing direction. So right there, when I turned, I said this way, and I used a treat to refocus her and keep her to my left side. You will never see me use the leash to reposition Sky, as it's a big misconception that if I were to pull her back to my left, that it's teaching her to stay there, when in reality that teaches a resilience to pulling and almost becomes like a game of tug of war. So to set her up for the best success, I say, easy. If she goes out in front of me, I stop walking. I let her hit the end of the leash, and then I wait for slack, or I take a treat to my left side and refocus that positively with that treat, or a lure is what we like to call it. So again, telling her this way, that cues in handler focus to have Sky look at me, as well as lets her know we are changing direction and lets her watch my body language. So saying this way, you'll notice she does occasionally stop and sit. And the reason for that is Sky has a really great automatic sit. So when we are in a public spot where I have to stop, such as in the line at a store like Tractor Supply, she does automatically sit down for me, and I typically reward that. And in these moments when maybe I'm not expecting her to do it or asking her to do that I just continue walking saying this way. When I do come to a complete stop, though, I do praise that automatic sit and handler focus and reward her. Another thing I'm doing throughout this entire video is giving her positive marker words, such as yes, good girl. And the reason for this is it's almost as if I'm handing Sky a treat and I'm rewarding her with those words. And these words reassure her she's doing exactly what I want her to do and what I'm asking her to do. Hence why when she goes out in front of me or on the wrong side, I say, letting her know I don't appreciate that behavior. And I let her know easy so she has a heads up that she may hit the end of the leash. Typically with Sky, she walks a little bit behind me, which is great. I'd always rather a pup stand a step or two behind me than ever walk in front of me, leading me. So this is really great. Sky has great leash walking skills. Again, here we have a distraction, so I'm using that treat to refocus her and never the leash, and using those cueing words such as this way when I want her handler focus or to change direction, positive marker words to assure her she's doing great. And when she does kind of mess up because she gets excited because she is still young and goes to the wrong side, I say, I'll even take that treat and reposition her with that treat because I'll never use the leash to do so. So here we are, telling her sit, always wanting to end on a positive note with all of our commands, because we're going to move throughout the airport throughout this go home video as well as to other locations. So I always end on a positive note. For this part, I'm getting her kind of to a spot where you can see her in the camera, and we are working on her sit stay. So I give her a sit, no treat at the beginning, nor during this command. Flat open hand saying stay, almost like a stop sign. And what I'm doing again throughout this is using those positive marker words. I'm creating great distance as I want her to be able to work on this in a distracting environment. And she's doing really, really great. So as I'm creating distance, I am breaking eye contact with her. I'm walking up and praising her with those positive marker words. And I'm reminding her stay as I walk away from the praise. And the reason for this is I'll never give that release word from a distance. I don't want to build up the anticipation. but I don't want her to ever expect that when I come up to pet her that I'm releasing her. So walking up, giving physical praise, and then as you're about to see, walk up, I praise her, and then I say, okay. This is not a touch release. Instead, what it is I'm praising her while she's holding the command. I get a little distance, and then I say, okay, and that's when she gets her treat. So she's working for that treat at the end of the command. If I were handing her treats throughout it, she's going to think she already got her reward, and instead I want her to know she's working for that. She loves the praise throughout it, and those positive marker words are almost like I'm throwing her treats throughout the command. Another thing that I'm doing in this, if she does mess up, which she's got a very strong sit, stay, and down stay, but she's still young, so you may see her go from a sit to a down, or a down to a sit here in the future in this video, as it demonstrates both the sit, stay, and down stay. They are structured commands, so even though she stays in the same spot and just changes position, I still tell her and I put her back into that sit or down. Sit, stay, and down stay are structured commands and positions. So having her hold a sit when I tell her sit and stay means she has to hold that sit until given the release word. If she lays down, I just gently pick her back up into a sit. If she were to break away, I would say and I take her back to the same spot and put her back in that same position. And this goes for both sit, stay, and down stay. If she is in a down stay and pops up into a sit, I will then just gently lay her back down and start over with that stay. I want her to understand that she has to follow through. So if I sat there and I tried to lure her back into a sit or down, it's going to take too long and go over her head. I want to try to get her back into that same spot, same position in roughly 10 seconds. 20 at most, but the quicker the better, so she understands why she's being taken back to that same spot, same position, and that she has to follow through till she gets that release word, which is always okay. Okay is the universal release word for all of her commands, whether it's sit, stay, down, stay, wait, and or place. The difference between the stay commands and place is that place is far less structured, and I'll kind of explain about that further along in this video when we get to her demonstrating her place command. As you see here, I'm creating a really great distance, breaking eye contact, turning my back to Sky, so even though she sees a change in my body language, she knows she has to follow through. So again, she's doing really great with this. It is very distracting. We are at a different area in the airport. She's never been here before, and she's still thriving and doing really, really great. Nothing really phases Sky. She is a very confident and outgoing pup. Loud noises don't bother her. Working with people walking through doesn't bother her. She is really great. Just right there, she had kind of popped up from her downstay, so I just gently laid her back down, told her stay, and followed through to continue with the command. So here are a few clips of Sky while we're sitting in the airport. I want her to understand she still has to demonstrate calm behavior when we are in a public setting. I want her on her best behavior and to have good manners. So we worked on this here, as well as having another dog with us, showing you kind of how busy it is. It was a bit busier when we first arrived, and it kind of settled down towards the end of our visit. But Sky's doing really, really great. People walking by, people are acknowledging her. I don't let anybody pet her when we're at the airport. It is part of our rules when we go there. So having Sky on her best behavior, and again, even with her buddy Bailey there, she's still demonstrating great manners and great basic obedience. Here we have Sky demonstrating her place command. So I kind of reference to the bed. I tell her place. Again, like the stay commands, no treat at the beginning or during this command. She works for that as her end goal. The biggest difference between the stay commands and the place command is she has a lot more freedom, and it's far less structured for the place command than with those sit stays and down stays. So when she's on the Corunda bed, she can do whatever she wants. She can stand up, lay down, she could do jumping jacks, backflips, whatever makes her happy, as long as she stays on that Corunda bed or wherever in your home you want the place command to be. You want her to go to this spot to be content and happy with whatever she's doing. Down the road, once she has this down pat at your home like she does here at Lewis Manor, she can have a long-term treat or create safe toy while holding this. But for the purpose of this video, I just wanted her to demonstrate it. So she can get belly rubs during this, unlike with the downstay, where the downstay I want to deter the belly rub position. I want her in a structure down. Here it does not matter. Here she can do whatever she wants, get praised however she wants, as long as she stays on that bed. So I'm walking up, praising, just the same as with the stays, giving that release, so from a little distance and saying, okay. She gets the treat at the end. So again, referencing to the bed, telling her place, no hand signal. Just waiting until all 4 feet are up there to tell her, yes, good girl, good job. And again, using those throughout the entire command. So it's almost as if I'm throwing treats at her from across the room, just assuring her she's doing a great job. I do walk up and pet her throughout this. This way she understands she's doing exactly what she's supposed to. Again, right there, giving her some praise, telling her, yes, good girl, good job. And then I remind her place as I'm walking away. I know the camera doesn't show this very well, but I am walking into various areas, making different noises with the kennels, other types of distractions, as well as walking into a different room. We have our bathroom and another hallway and room that branch off from this training room, and I am stepping completely out of her sight, and she's doing great. Another good time to use this command, other than when just practicing, is during maybe if you work from home, during doing chores. So I love to use this in my personal home when I'm doing the dishes, sweeping, vacuuming, etc. I will send my dogs to place just like Sky is here, and then I'm able to do those at home chores. So I'm dragging a laundry basket around, making loud noises. Loud noises do not faze Sky. I just wanted to see if the distractions would entice her to break away. If she were to break away, I would say, She typically corrects herself by getting right back on the bed. If not, I will just kind of scoop her up, put her back onto that bed, and start over with the place command. No praise when she messes up, as I don't want to reward the premature breaking of the command. So instead, I just say, I put her back on the bed, I say place, and I continue and follow through. Here I'm using a broom to make noises and create another distraction to have her work through, and she does not care one bit. She's kind of just looking at it. I even here in a moment will poke her with the broom to show you that she's not mouthing the broom. She's not having any kind of crazy behaviors like that, even though she's young. She is very well desensitized to things such as the broom, the laundry basket. I even took the laundry basket and kind of poked some kennel doors, making some loud noises, and she did not care one bit. So this is a really great time to use the place command. Again, if you work from home, having her do this in your office, sitting there holding the place command, as well as if you're doing home chores. You will want to start from small times when she first comes home and work back up to the time she's at now, which is about 15 minutes. So she has a very strong place, but in a new environment, you're just going to want to kind of start from scratch just to get her warmed up in your new home. For this part of Sky's Go Home video, we are having her work on her kennel and weight. So I will toss a treat in, tell her kennel, or even a crate safe toy or long-term treat. Something I don't have to worry about her shredding up and ingesting. Toss that in the kennel, tell her kennel. This is how you'll want to do it when she first comes home, as she does know kennel without a treat, But you want to kind of start from those puppy stages just for the first few days so she understands what you're asking of her is the same thing she was being asked of here at Lewis Manor. So I tossed that treat in, tell her kennel, wait. As you see right there, she just tried to kind of barge out. I just gently pushed her back in and closed her back in. I don't want Sky to think it's acceptable behavior to kind of bust on out of the kennel. I want her to have good manners and be very patient with this. That is the whole point of the wait command, because we also use it when walking through doorways or across the street. So you'll see throughout this clip, I am tossing a treat in, telling her kennel, or sometimes just referencing to the kennel and then giving her the treat when she goes in. And then I tell her wait. I'm able to open the door all the way up, create distance between myself and the kennel, and she still holds it. When she does try to prematurely break, as you saw a moment ago, I just say and I close her back in so she knows that's not acceptable. And then I would continue. As you see here, though, that is not typically an issue with her. So she settles in nicely. I tell her wait, always waiting till she finishes the treat. So her focus is on me and not eating. And then I'm kind of testing her here a bit, walking around, being kind of distracting by the side of the kennel. Anything to see if she'll try. I'll say right there, and she corrected herself. I didn't even have to close her in. And then I say that okay word, which is the release word. And then I give her the treat as well as praise. So toss that treat in, tell her kennel, finishes the treat, get her focus on me by saying her name, saying wait, opening that door right up, creating a little bit of distance and distraction just to show you how strong she has this. And then I say, when I get back to the kennel a little closer, again, I'm going to change the camera position here to show you the distance between her and myself. But then I say okay when I am ready for her to come out. And as you've seen, that was quite a long holding of weight. She is very good with this. So when we use it for the doorway, it's the same exact thing as what I'm doing here. If we're walking out the door and I say wait, and she goes to barge out, I just close her back in, starting over with that command. And then if we're by the side of the street, I may put her in a sit, tell her wait, and then I say okay when it's safe for us to cross. If she prematurely breaks, we walk away from the edge, and then we start over with that wait command. And always ending on a successful note with her sits and downs. So sit, I just gesture my hand up and say sit, and down I reference to the floor. Here is just a little bonus clip of Sky working on her rollover. She does know this. She is a very fun, outgoing, confident puppy with a little bit of goofiness to her, and I absolutely love her personality. She is a very fun pup to work with, and I have no doubt that you're going to love her just as much as we do here at Lewis Manor. So again, this is Sky's Go Home video. This is going to be utilized when working on Sky's commands in her new home, in the new environment of your home. And just remember to always be patient. Understand that she has to learn what you say is the same thing as what we are doing here at Lewis Manor. During her go home though, we will go through this together. And I'll even show you in person her cute little rollover command. But I'm going to sit, ending on a down. Going to give her a little bit of a roll over there. Roll back over. Give her the reward. And again, even though it's a trick, I'm going to use those positive marker words, assuring her she does great. And I like to end our training sessions with this little bit of goofiness in the rollover command because I want her to look forward to training. So as long as we always end on a positive note, whether it's with a goofy command like this or her strongest commands, which are sit and down, this way she looks forward to training next time. So yes, this is Sky, and she's an awesome pup.